Hello friends, I am Chevy. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? I hope it's fantastic. I hope everything here or there is great. Everything here is great. So I hope everything is great for you and it's all great. We're great. So I've been recently asking for topic ideas and you've been providing discussion topics, whatever. Thank you, everybody. I keep a list on the phone, so I will probably get to your topic idea at some point. Please keep them coming. You can leave them in the comments. You can text me or call me on the phone number that's at the end of every video and in the description, whatever. Just, I really like having these ideas. But, so, one of the things that Chris suggested was music reviews, which, yeah, I don't know why I have not done those all this time. Like, I do book reviews and video game reviews and board game reviews, but I've never talked about the music that I listen to. So I started thinking about that, and I started going through like my music library, and thinking about who would I talk about, what could I review, and what I discovered. So this isn't that. I think you know that from the title. This is not that. But this is instead. So what I've realized, so I went through here's my list of artists that I have saved in my phone, things that I've listened to since I was a kid, since I've been an adult, like, just like all of my stuff, all of my favorite things, and the things that I identify the most with in this list. And in fact, I think the things that I identify the most with all around came from a need to fit in. Like, I think that my life has been kind of a lie. Not really. I know that's not true. But the things that I have strongly identified with in my life, and we're going to base this talk on music because I've got the list right here, were things that somebody else introduced to me as their favorite, and I went, well, that's my favorite too. And I just kept that. Until about 10 years ago, if you asked me who my favorite band was, I would tell you it was Pearl Jam. And I think that was true, but it wasn't my idea to have Pearl Jam as my favorite band. In fact, I listened to 10 when it first came out. My brother-in-law bought it. He was really into it. We listened to it, and I was like, this is okay. It wasn't until I just completely forgot the name of the fourth album that when I heard a couple of songs off of that album for the first time where I was really like, oh, I identify with this. So it was years later. I was like a junior or senior in high school or something like that when I really fell in love with that music. And that was because another friend said, you need to listen to this. We were both drummers. I listened to it. And then another friend said, that's my favorite band ever. And then my girlfriend at the time, that's my favorite band ever. And so it just became my favorite band ever. And I was comfortable saying that. Like, that's fine. But in reality, over those years, I would say I went to, listened to, and followed Flogging Molly more. That, like, since 2001, 2002, I listened to, followed, and, saw live Flogging Molly way more than Pearl Jam. In reality, Flogging Molly probably was my favorite band. And in that particular case, it kind of was my discovery. Like, I had been listening to Dropkick Murphys from a friend introduced me to Dropkick Murphys. And then somebody said, have you heard of this band Flogging Molly? And I was like, no. And they're like, you should check them out. And I did. And that was it. Like, there was no, like, this is my favorite band. And I went, well, this is my favorite band too. And in fact, the guy that suggested I listen to them wasn't really into them. Like, he didn't listen to them. So that's one of the first times in my life where I took something this is just for me. Like, I like this. This is my thing. And going through this list, there's so many things, so many bands that I got introduced to because somebody else, and I wanted to talk about them. Dave Matthews Band, for instance. Cake. Mm, let's look through here. Uh, at the Drive-In, old ass hardcore band. That was a really cool band. I like that band a lot. Violent Femmes. Man, so much stuff in here. Mumford and Sons. Morphine. A lot of these bands were bands that somebody else said, this is amazing. And I went, yeah, it is. And let's tag along. Um, but I think that looking through this list now, if I look through the modern version of this list, like the stuff I'm listening to right now, the stuff I'm listening to all the time is stuff that I have independently discovered or I have discovered through, opening acts for other bands. I'm listening to a lot of, say, Amigo the Devil, and I really like him. I'm not like, oh my God, but my kid is. My kid's the one who said, Dad, will you take me to this concert? And I said, sure. And then I went and listened. I was like, I really like this guy, but he's not my thing. Like, that's not my thing. If I had to pick, like, right now, the band that, so I use the YouTube Music app, and I just play their Super Mix, and I like songs whenever I hear a song I like. And so it just constantly churns new stuff. But it's kind of new stuff based on old stuff. So it's the same probably 20 bands. But there's one band on there that I get excited when any of their songs come on. And that is Red City Radio. Just a phenomenal kind of punk band, and I really like what they do. I really like the voice, their singer's voice. I really like their tone. They're amazing, and unfortunately, they seem to like just kind of disappeared over the last couple of years, which kind of sucks because I just discovered them within the last year or two. But those are the types of things like I discovered that just because, like whatever. There are bands like Louis the Child. Louis the Child is an electronica group. But they did a Kia commercial, and I listened to it and fell in love with it. And so that wasn't, nobody said, literally nobody in my life is like, I love Louis the Child. I just found it. Like, that sounds amazing. I want to listen to that. Let's see, what else do we have? The Lumineers, I think I just fell in love with. I heard Ophelia, and I was like, that's a really good song, and I started listening to them a lot. There's quite a few of those have come into my life in recent years. The Decemberists, I heard their Mariners song, and I was like, I really like this song, and they've never done anything else like it, but I like a lot of their other stuff, and so I just continue to listen to them. What else do we have? Trying to find other things that might be, like Bon Iver. There is a group of things in here. I found my friend John Elliott, who I think we have some John Elliott merch somewhere. I've talked about him plenty of times on the show. He was introduced to me from a guy who we both liked folk, singer songwriter folky type stuff, and so some of the stuff like Bon Iver I listened to. I think that guy, like, YouTube suggested it to me like 20 years ago or something. I don't know. YouTube hasn't been around that long. Whatever. But yeah, I think I've realized. So I've always been kind of ashamed. Things that I've like stuck a flag in and said this is my identity have just been things that like they were never really my thing. And if you take them as a whole, you take the things that I love as a whole, it's a very eclectic mix of things. And I realized that made me and shaped me into who I am, which means I'm completely different than everybody else because I picked a flag from this person and a flag from this person and a flag from this person, and I just claimed these things as my own. But what I've realized is, number one, there is no such thing as this is my thing. Like, that's not a thing. People who do that are just, come on, go away. But number two, I've realized that I'm no longer that person. Like I think maybe this is like that midlife crisis thing, but I realize there's not enough time in my life left to absorb things I don't enjoy. Not that I don't enjoy all of these bands that I used to listen to. I do, but there's things that I enjoy more right now. And I'm not going to keep, forcing myself to listen to something because it's my favorite when something else is bringing me joy. That being said, Flogging Molly is still by far my favorite band currently. I listen to them nonstop. But I think that I've finally hit a point where I'm not ashamed about the things that I've said. This is my thing, you know. When I was a teenager, it kind of felt icky to me. Like I didn't have an identity, and I was just grasping at anything to find that identity or to be a part of something. And I think it feels good to have somewhat grown out of that. But we'll talk about more music for sure. Thank you for the suggestion, Chris. Thank you all for suggestions. I have a good list going, so please keep them coming. Let me know about whatever you want to talk about in the comments, or text me, or call me. I like the calls. They're fun. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends and wonderful people. I really appreciate you, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Today's word you should know sounds smart is unilateral. It's an adjective meaning a decision that affects many other people or states, but is made independently by a single authority, without consulting those with whom it affects. We made a unilateral decision to exclude Edwin from our group of possible paramours due to his distasteful habit of kissing and telling. Unilateral. U-N-I-L-A-T-E-R-A-T-E-R-A-L. I didn't know that was by a single authority. Oh, that doesn't necessarily mean a single person. Yeah. I thought... Yeah. So when a bill gets voted unilaterally, does that mean that everybody voted on it? Or does that mean that the majority party voted on? I don't know how that works.